So I feel like this message was befitting for someone that has gone through this. Or maybe you are someone that have witnessed this for someone else. And I feel like going into 2026, I just feel like everything behind you expires. And when I say expires, it gives to you a new clean slate. That's how it feels to me. And I know some people are just over New Year's resolutions, but I feel like all through the year we should be doing that anyways, not just when we come up to a new year. But if that is the case, whenever you choose to, it's perfectly fine. You don't need validation or permission from anybody else to permit you to become better, do better, or how you set your goals. But anyway, what I was getting at is someone that may have came up in a home or a community where love was definitely unpredictable. You had to figure out what was the love language when there's no hugs or kisses or no one telling you I'm proud of you, no one telling you that I love you, or it feels like no one even sees you, or maybe the language that they use, especially when you come from a particular culture or background where, um, certain language is used to express how you feel or shape how you tend to grow up, and it literally trains you. It trains your mindset. It trains your behavior. Um, for an example, you know, you may have you may have been raised in a home where you were told that you were loved, you were hugged, you were kissed on, but maybe you are in a community where you may have a friend, or maybe you just see it in the community where someone's parents or loved ones or, siblings, cousins, whatever the case may be, they may use the language young, YN, or, you know, just as hard language, but coming from the individual, that was the way they speak. That's the way that they were trained. That's how they show their love. Here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with culture. Culture sometimes can be a beautiful thing. However, when we don't grow outside of everything that has shaped and molded us, how do we grow into the person that we were actually created to be? Or how do we see anything else different for ourselves? Prime example, there may be someone that grew up in a very abusive home, with vulgar language, or seeing people fight, putting hands on one another, and or maybe you grew up in a home where you seen your parents fighting, and there was vulgar language that was used, and even the way that the parents may speak to you, you grew up carrying that behavior. And it's funny because some parents would say, I had nothing to do with that. But as parents, sometimes you have this life where you may not have asked for that. That's not what you envisioned for yourself. But what if that was your life? And that is modeled before your children. And we don't realize that can train a child, that can program a child, it can mold them. And so some kids, they go off and they pick up this this lifestyle that may not be appeasing, but it is apparent where it came from. Is experiences, is memories that they hold to them. Even when they become better versions of themselves, those memories still very much live on the inside of them. And I'm having this conversation because for some reason it took me back to having a conversation with a loved one. And um, very, very, very dear to me. This loved one expresses their emotions through anger, very quick temper. A lot of their habits has come from their parents. And when this person is always called out and they are told you're just like your father, or you have ways like your mother, they become very upset and they go into defense mode. The truth is they don't know any other version of themselves. So they protect that version of themselves. They go into defense mode. And so that is their defense mechanism, because they actually feel like they are protecting their identity, when in fact, that's not your true identity. I am saying all of this because I may not have articulated the way I want to, or the way that I would love to, but what I am saying to you, if that is you and this resonates with you, or maybe you were one that may grew up in a home where, you witness certain behavior that's not really seen as conservative, and you may have picked up some of those same traits, and now people judge you based off of those things. Again, that is not your true identity. That is all that you've ever known. That is the thing that shaped you. That is your experience. You didn't live outside of that. That was your reality. But in that moment, because that happened to you, that may have been your experience. That may have been a moment that had played a huge part in your life, because now it obviously has shaped you. But I want to say to you that start with healing. And if there's one person that you can go to and that you can literally pour out things that you wouldn't normally say or share with others, create a relationship with God. Establish a relationship with God first and foremost, and allow those things to come out. Sometimes hearing yourself say those things is very therapeutic, and it begins the healing process. The more you heal and the more you establish a relationship with God, you'll understand that that was never your identity. Those were experiences, those were encounters, those are things that you actually endured, and you can take all of those things and they can become stepping stones for you to become the version of your true self, right? Healing has to happen in order for a person not to try and defend themselves, because if this is all you know, then quite naturally you're going to defend this identity. But if you get it in your head that this is not who I am, this is not who I was created to be, you will take it as criticism, because sometimes it doesn't always come off as loving. It doesn't always come off as I have your best interest. It doesn't come off as I see better for you. It comes off sometimes vulgar. So this is why people are unable to handle the truth, and people don't realize that people are sensitive because of the things that people have gone through. So this is all they know, and everybody's not, a psychologist. Everybody doesn't understand some of the things that we go through, how to handle a person that has gone through those things. And so they just say things, because it wasn't their experience, and because they didn't go through some of the things that you may have gone through. So they're not diligent with you, right? I kind of feel like I'm just talking all over the place, but what I really want to say is, this year, 2025, before you step into 2026, I don't care who you are, what your upbringing was. I wanted to point that out because there are some people that are dealing with some heavy stuff that is more strenuous than others, more tumultuous than others. But regardless, if that is not your story, still take a moment to reflect on your ability to be everything that you were called to be in this life. And one way to do that sometimes is not always accepting everything that you were taught, accepting everything that you've seen. If for some of you, it may have made you the person that you are. But outside of DNA and background and lineage, who are you as an individual? What's the power that is knitted within you? What's the influence that's inside of you that is really supposed to set you apart, make you distinct, make you extraordinary? There's nothing coming about you. And so how can we leave an illusion behind of who we think we are versus who we really created to be? I really want us to take that moment to start with healing. And once we get the proper healing, to step into development and then walk into what and who we were truly created to be and what we're truly created to do. Because you'll be surprised at the power that you possess when you get the healing that you need. Drop off some of those layers of doubt, some of those layers of uncertainty, some of those things that feel coming to you, but they're very uncommon. Some of those things that feel normal to you, but they're very abnormal. Those layers need to come off. I see who you are on the outside, but I'm talking about internally. It's time to do the inside work, because we live in a world where you are needed. You may not feel like you're needed. You may not feel important based off of who you've become over the years. But if you truly stepped into creating and polishing who you are as an individual, you'd be surprised at what you find out about yourself. Some sacrifices are going to have to be made. Yep, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. And when I say that, that means breaking some habits. That means breaking some patterns. That means taking criticism, and not in a way that's vulgar or demeaning. You don't have to take that. But put yourself around people that are diligent, but yet give you the truth. Because the truth will always open the doors to a jail cell. Because that's exactly what life feels like when you are broken, but yet you show up as if you're good. You know, you have this facade because you know we live in this crazy world that has not necessarily loving all the time. But try to retreat and just take a moment to step back and truly take a look at yourself in the mirror internally. Write down on paper so you can see these things. Write down some of your habits, good, bad, in between. Write them down and take a look at them. And it's going to tell you your truth. And I don't mean write down things that you're trying to defend yourself, those thoughts where you're trying to defend yourself against people. Put those on paper too. You need to see what is being stored inside of you, and this will help you to determine what needs to be released, right? Because there are some things that is spoiled, and it should have been released out of you. It should have been let go so many years ago. You owe this to yourself. Anger has to go. Being a defense mechanism has to go. Being a victim has to go. Those same old stories that happened 20, 30 years ago, they got to go. Yesterday's stories got to go. You're not making any excuses because you are powerful. What if you are the next leader of this country and you don't know that because you're still living in demise of who you thought you've been all this time? We need you. I'm just a voice that carries to awaken something inside of you that you didn't even know exists. If God created you and he said, I knitted inside of you your inmost being. Your inmost being is so powerful. Your inmost being, it carries temperate, it carries gifts, it carries capacity, it carries intellect. All of these things that you haven't tapped into. Some of you know you have a gift, but because of fear, that is keeping you from using it, or fear that is telling you that you're not good enough. It is not up to us to determine what is good enough and what's bad enough. God gave to you that gift. That gift is used to heal someone. That gift is used to inspire someone, to encourage someone. That gift is used to establish and build something, and you're holding it in. Do not take it to the grave. Do not give that power to the grave. Free yourself, like surrender. Free yourself of your own thought patterns, your own habits. I'll keep going on and on and on, but I'm sure you get the point by now. 2026, give yourself grace to be exactly who you are created to be. Ask yourself the question, not just why do I exist, but how do I exist? How do I exist? That means paying attention to your patterns, your defense mechanisms, or how you deal with life on a daily basis, how you deal with people, how you parent, how you love, how you work. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. I love you guys. Y'all have an amazing day.